So I'm now going to go, okay, I can't be very specific with the bit I'm going to do in terms of where they are on the pitch and those things, but it is kind of a general thing around receiving. So all I'm going to do, actually I won't ruin it for Danny. Keeper, centre back. I could do my shadow play if I've got even 12 or 14 players turn up. I could double up positions, full-backs, maybe I've got 2 right-backs. Nobody's ever got a left-back, so there's only one of them. I've got 17 midfield players. And so you could do it that way, where we just play around and just pass through, and there might be a couple of target goals that they've got to play into, then return to the back and do it that way. You've found out the pros and cons of doing that. I'm going to take it right back to the very bottom left-hand corner of your matrix, and I'm going to be unopposed, non-specific, small practice. So think about the theme. It was about potentially both of these players not being able to receive and turn. So what do I need? Extras now for that topic to come out. I need somebody to pass it to him, and I need somebody to receive it. So he's got a reason to pass and turn. So that's probably as small as my practice can go with that thing. Now obviously with your own players, I'm just going to replicate it. There. I could, if I'm on a half a pitch, put them in their positions. What will help them if I put them in their positions? Yeah. More realistic, pitch geography. Players will get used to the pitch geography and where they are on the pitch, so I could get quite specific with their positional sense. But do I want to put my number 9 in that position? Like, does it matter? So I could just do them in lines. So I'm just going to do them in lines for now. So we are non-specific, non-game or less game-like, small practice. So what I want you to do is get into groups of 3. And I want you to grab a couple of cones, like a starting cone, a receiving cone, and a passing cone. And I want you to dictate how far you think the distance should be, bearing in mind my problem. Coming back to my problem. Okay, off you go. Just anywhere along this sort of line, we can use that half the pitch. So yeah, let's help these guys. You on? Right, I better start recording.
Start a yard off the line so you've got room to go behind it. Otherwise you end up with the balls. I reckon 15 here. Because you think about it, if you open up and you want
3. Oh, can you see me? Yeah. Oh, is that in the pocket? Get in there. Pen's in the way. 3, 2, 1, clap. Nobody's asked me yet what it depends on. By the end of the weekend, if I ask a question, they'll all be going, it depends. It depends. Yeah. Okay, I'm surprised nobody's asked me, what does it depend on? Okay, so most people have gone for like maybe a 10 to 12 yard-ish, something like that, distance. Yeah? Why have you chosen that? So trying to keep it realistic to the distances in the game. So if you've got younger kids playing on half a pitch, you might make those distances smaller, or if it's seniors, you might go even a bit bigger. Okay, we'll grab a ball each for them. I'll let everybody have a go first, and then we'll just tighten it down. Ben, are you without a? Oh yeah, there you go. Perfect.
Okay, so all I want you to do is just pass into the middle man, receive, turn and pass out, and then just replay it half a dozen times. Offside, that one. Don't worry about that. On the AstroTurf, yeah. Yeah. Okay, change the man in the middle. We won't labour the point. Oh, he just pays you the ultimate compliment there. Which foot are you? Oh, well. How many have you done, Ben? 3 or 4? Okay, change! Last change! Okay, just have a walk over, what we'll do, we'll set you back up, Ben, Murray in there, and yeah, Vic, if you go to the top end. Okay, so, in this exercise, just in your little groups on the side there as you've gathered, we'll get these guys to just go through it again. Don't be too intensive with it. I want to save your legs. I want you to work out those W's that we were talking about. Who can I coach? Right? Who can I coach in this exercise? What can I coach? So again, think back to the theme. What can I coach? And also, how can I coach? Okay, so who, what, and how. Just have a look at this exercise. Ready, Ben? Off you go. No pressure, by the way, Murray. Okay, that'll do you, Murray. Stop there. We'll rest you, won't kill you. We'll swap you out. Ben, do you want to swap in, swap out? Okay, who can I coach in this exercise? Right, first and foremost, obviously the player in the middle. So this would be my centre-back potentially, or a midfield player. Okay, so what can I coach him on? So receiving the ball. Let's break down receiving. What about it? Tell me some more details. On your toes and ready. There's one.
Shape, open.
Body shape, having an open body shape. What else?
On your toes, not standing still.
Say again, Blair.
Sorry, just moving, not standing.
So a bit of movement. What else? What foot? What foot? Yeah, but that's maybe the passer more than the receiver.
Yeah, like receiving on the front or back.
Okay, so receiving maybe on his back foot. Does everybody understand that term? So it's the foot furthest away from the ball.
Communication, basic communication.
Yeah, some communication. So there's a whole heap of things we can work on. What about the angle of the pass? Now, even though we've got it set up in a straight line, does it mean Ben has to stay in a straight line? Now, again, think about my exercise. There might be a slight angle on the pass. So they're the coaching points, if you like, the tasks that the player has to do to be effective at the game. Right, how can I coach him? I can demonstrate. So there's one style of coaching. What else? Explain. So I can tell him what to do. I want you to receive on your back foot, open your hips, blah, blah, blah. I can explain it. What else? A question. How can you receive the ball and turn quickly? What else? Sorry, I can't hear you, Vic. You have to come a bit closer.
Yeah, post-mortem.
A post-mortem.
Yeah, when you do the passing,
Yeah.
if it didn't work out the way, like, there's a mistakes can be
Cool. So a post-mortem. So reflection back on what you did. And that might be a question. How do you think you could have done it better, quicker, whatever? Any others? How are you going to coach that? Is that an instruction or? Yeah, but how are you going to coach it? That's what you're coaching. A demonstration. So a demonstration or an instruction. You could give him a task. So it's a can you question. So can you receive it on your back foot and play forward quickly? Okay, so there's different ways you can get that information across. We'll explore next week why you should use different areas of those teaching methods. There's no right and wrong, there's just different. So I'm gonna give you a task, Ben. Can you receive on your back foot and play forward quickly? Ready? Play, Vic. Good, very good. So in the player's head now, hopefully, he's almost just focused on the task in hand. Can I receive on my back foot and turn and play quickly? So it's actually quite rushed. Yeah, good. And relax there, Ben. Well done. Sub in, sub out. Doesn't matter who. Yeah, Vic's getting extra rest. Okay, so there was a task. I could ask a question. So think about Ben's receiving there. How much of an angle did he make for the pass? Not a lot, minimal. Okay, so who could ask Murray a question that can help him find what we want him to find in terms of a bit of distance or an angle on it? What's a good question?
I can see the passer and also get view of the passee.
Fantastic. Love that. Because it brings in scanning as well, doesn't it? So Murray, how can you get into a position to see both? Brilliant. Now, are you going to start there or are you going to move there? Up to you. Ready? Play. What's the left foot just for standing on, Murray, or what, eh? Oh, nearly. Nearly. Oh, almost. It would have done me. And relax there. Yeah, throw in. Okay, so there's the question. Danny, you're younger than me. Get yourself in there and I want you to demonstrate as well. So, I nearly called you an ex-player. Maybe you should be. Yeah. Being ex-players sometimes can be really useful because you can show exactly what it should look like. Now, it's not to say if you haven't got the technique, you can't do it. And I often cheat because I don't want to look like an idiot sometimes and fall over. I'll just show you. So nice and slow, Vic, roll it in. How you can be patient with the ball and just pass it through on the next step. So you can slow things down if you're not that comfortable with your own technique. But if you're a half-tidy player like Danny, show us, Danny, how you can create a nice angle, receive and turn and play quickly. So a little look over his shoulder, nice soft touch and a firm pass it. So you can commentate over the top whilst you're doing it or let somebody else do it for you. Thanks, Ledworth. Yeah. Yeah, flippin' heck. Okay, so we've coached the person in the middle. Just, you want to step in a bit, like you can hear a bit more. I won't lose my voice. We coached him on his receiving skills, a little bit on his movement skills. How game-like is this exercise? Think back to the Matrix. It's right in that bottom sort of corner, but there's some links. Again, with youth players and certainly seniors, you can start to plant this into their head. So if it's a midfield player, imagine you're being marked by another midfield player. Where might you move to receive and pass into a striker? So you're trying to get them to paint pictures in their heads. And your job as the coach is just to observe. So I'd noticed Danny took a snapshot just before he received the ball. So he starts to move off, has a little look where it is. Yeah, now I can receive and now I can play. So those sorts of things, as a coach, you've got to observe. If it's something that you want to praise, you give him some credit for it. If it's something that the players haven't done, it might be something you can coach. So that might be in their task list. You know, take a snapshot before you receive, or whatever it might be. So we've coached in there, receiving, bit of movement. What else can we coach that person on? Remember the objective. We want to play out and play through. So we've got the pass going in, we've got him receiving and turning. What's next? Yeah, accuracy of the pass, the quality of the next pass. So that could be another focus for us. What about before we coach this player? What about that player? So it might be the goalkeeper, or the centre back passing into midfield, or the midfield passing into the striker. Their quality of pass. So Vic, let's have the ball. So ideally, we obviously don't want to be playing in straight lines. So Vic's going to create a nice angle for me, but I might communicate, because I can see up the pitch which is a safe side. So I might just start rolling it in there to start with to help him out. So the quality of my pass, like for instance, if Vic's standing there and I do that, how quickly can he receive, turn and play? So the quality of my pass is really important. So with your observations as a coach, can you analyse what the problem is? Often we'll look at the bigger picture. We can't play out from the back. Yeah, but why? Oh, because they're pressing us. Yeah, but why? And go really, really deep into, okay, it's now receiving techniques, technical work. Can we get this repetition in so that they can play? Now the challenge is to move very quickly from this, because how challenging is it mentally for a player? It's as challenging as they'll want to make it, isn't it? Because it goes in, I turn, I play out. Blah, blah. So what's the next step? How can I shift it from non-game-like to game-like?
Someone to bring in an hose.
Right, defender. Now again, it might be just a passive defender. Yeah.
Because there's a defender getting the ball.
Yeah, could be. Yeah.
That is. That's what we're working on.
Yeah, could be. But if we've got the ball, we're attacking, right?
But we're starting to keep it.
But we're not defending. He might be an attacker.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but they're defending.
Okay. Yeah, you're right.
Angle of the ball we receive,
Yeah,
it makes this guy have a turn, and you may know how close this guy, right?
exactly.
May cause we lose the ball.
So by adding in, Luis, you're going to be a defending attacker for me.
Straight the back on these.
So if you mark, Vic, you're on the ball. You're playing for me, Vic. Come in, up to the dot. Luis is defending against you. Now, just having Luis there influences me, and it influences Vic in terms of where I'm going to pass. Now, if I was to be horrible to Vic, I'd go get run in there, and it's a 50-50. Luis's eyes light up, and he puts him in the stands. If I want to be safe, I'm going to go on, then there's a little one there. Now, you might turn in, you might turn out, again, depending on the game. But just by bringing in that attacker, brings in another level of interference, decision-making, all those sorts of things. How else can we make it tougher without adding players?
Constraints, maybe 2 touch, 3 touch.
Okay, so you could build in some constraints. Luis, just go and stand sort of halfway on that white halfway line, but just sort of 5 yards back. So that's like an easier start. So Vic knows exactly where he's coming from. Ready? Play! So the pressure might be a little bit less, or it might be right now, mark him as tight as you like. You can go wherever you like. Now he's got to work a lot harder. So that level of interference is like a dial I can use. And if you think my players are a little bit sort of not great technically, maybe don't start with full-on pressure. So Luis has got to drop off a bit first. And then I'll allow the first touch, and then you can, like, so all those things. I can turn that dial up. Now we're full match pace. Ready? Play. Can he receive? Can he turn? Oh, he's giving it back to me. Can he turn again? Oh, nearly done him. So you can start building it up. What's the next phase? Second pass. Yeah, good. So, oh, get it through the midfield. What about me? So think about the game. So I'm the centre back. Vic's managed to make a nice little bit of space. I might now be able to support underneath. Or I'm never going to get there, but but it might be a 2v1. So again, who can I coach? 1, 2, and even the top man for a third man sort of angle. So if it goes into Vic there, I make a little angle. Now I've got this channel open. Just do us a favour, Ben, be the target. But be the target that side, go that side there. Now I'm giving Luis a bit of a chance to get there. So Ben needs to now make a good move for us to then penetrate through. So we've penetrated that line of defence. So I'm coaching Ben, movement, timing, disguise, those sorts of things. How else? What else is next? 2 receivers, 2 defenders, so you just start building the practice up. Now again, why would I do it unopposed? Why would I do it opposed? Why would I do it easy? Why would I do it hard? They're questions you have to answer within your session, but know why you're doing it. Not just, I've seen this great drill, it was 1v1 and da-da. Yeah, that's fine. How does it relate to you and your players? So this was started unopposed, small, non-specific. Let's take a walk over to the goal. Let's go. Any lefties in the house? Lefties? Matt? No, I'm not doing, no, not crossing. Lefty?
I'm just using my right.
Let's go, tell you what, we'll stay here. Stay out here on the yellow line and we'll look back. I need someone, Blair, you can go just in goal, just as a keeper. You can start with the ball. You're going to go left centre back for me, and Stu right centre back for me. Now I might have the luxury of an assistant coach that can look after the rest of my squad, but I need to get some detail into the 2 centre backs, and I've got half a pitch, and I've got my goalkeeper. Now often the goalkeeper gets missed off in terms of these types of exercises because their quality actually dictates the quality of our play moving forward. Because if his pass in is crap, chances are the next one's going to be even worse because it puts us straight under pressure. So it's a goal kick. Centre backs, I'd like you to be as wide as you possibly can, but the depth you can decide on your own. When you receive it, Ben, as you're there, yeah, I don't know, either one. Ben's going to be my number 6 target. I don't want you to run anywhere into the box, just sort of run along this line to support the centre back in there. Ready, Blair? There you go, anywhere you like. Good, just play it in. Good, receive. Yeah, you can just play it to the centre back. Once it's in there, just turn around, play it back to Blair, split again, play again. Now, when we talked about on the matrix, like a passing drill activity, this is it, like lots of repetition. I can coach them on their receiving techniques as well, just like what we did in that straight line. But now, players can start to see where it fits. I can even build some more specificity into the 6. Can you receive, Ben, and face forwards? Brilliant. Now just turn out and play back to the keeper. So he's now getting used to, because in a real game, as it goes into Matt, yes, Matty, I'll have it. In a real game, I don't want him to go, I want him to be playing that way. So as much as I can, I want to try and encourage him to do that. And it might be just scoring a little goal or just turn that back out. But I'm working mostly with those 2. So Blair, goalkeeper, a challenge. Can you pass to the centre backs so that they can play forwards with 2 touch? So I've given him quite an open task. I've not said I need you to pass it to their back foot or I need you to do, just can you pass so that they can play? So he's got to think about his quality. Yeah, play. And where it's going to go. So he's got to play forward. Good, Matt. Yeah, good. Just punch one back in. Good body shape. Oh, I'm not playing. Now, who wants to be the poor bugger that's going to prep? No, I'm joking. Okay. So as you found out with the matrix stuff, those passing activities, passing drills, really good for repetition, loads of chances at doing it. But in those sorts of exercises, they're not really getting that game picture running through their head unless they've got a bit of that experience to fall back on. They can see where it fits in the game. Kids would get bored stiff of that within a minute because it's just turn, pass, oh God, what's the point? There's no point to it, there's no game to it. An exercise like that, which is more specific to the game, again, younger players will start to say, oh, okay, this is where it fits. But again, it's not very exciting for a young player. So how can I make it a game? I can add a pose straight away. How can I add a game without adding opposition? Because that might be two steps too far for them.
Two goals on halfway where they've got to play the ball to.
Brilliant. So there's a target. Can you get it from the goalkeeper to the goal as quickly as you can? Ready? Go. And this side, you're competing against that side. I might have right back and right centre back and a midfield player on each. So there's 7 players involved. Ready? Play. Boom, bang, bang, boom, boom, goal. It might be a time limit. You've got 10 seconds to get there. 10, 9, 8. So there's pressure coming onto them. Because if it's like that, you're under no real pressure to do anything quickly. So you can have a bobby touch and it doesn't matter. But when you put some pressure onto them, you can apply it with different techniques. I just lost my train of thought. Opposed, goals. Goals, that's where I was coming to. If we were to do an exercise, so for instance, what you say there, Murray, around we've got 2 centre backs in and a midfield player, let's say we've got 2 goals, where would I put them and why? Or where could I put them and why? Okay, why? Cool.
Making them make a decision. So if it's 1 goal there and 1 goal there for that team, they know exactly where it's going already.
Yep.
Whereas if you're making them think, putting your head up to see where the space, or because if you might have add in a defender where there are 1 defender between the 2 goals, so
yep.
you've got to see what one's free.
Yep. Yeah, you could do that. Yeah, so you can say, or even like put a red bib and a green bib on it and call out a number. You can only put like whatever. Like an opposition. Yep. Yeah, they can screen some goals. So Danny will show us in a minute as well, where if your playing model is a certain formation, so for instance, I showed on the board there a 6 and 2 8s, 10s, whatever you want to call them, advanced midfield players, I'd probably have 2 goals where they would operate, and maybe a goal where the winger would operate on either side. Because ultimately that's where we're trying to play to, as you say, it forms, so it gets them into good habits. Pitch geography, as a centre back, if I'm receiving even a bit further up, I can either play into my 6 or I can punch one into my 8 or my 11's there. So they start to play into those sorts of areas. So again, you can make it really specific to your model, to how you want to play. If it's 4-4-2, well, you have 2 midfield players and 2 strikers and do it that way. Might just be cones or jumpers or whatever you've got. But I guess coming back to the specificity thing, if you can get the same repetitions that those types of practices get, specifically, I would go specific as more often than not, because it relates, and the more that we relate things, the better, I think, for their learning. There are times when those are great, easily controlled, small area, you know, if it's cold, windy, like, I mean, today's quite windy and I've got to work quite hard with my voice, you can get information across quite quickly. But here, can you hear me on the far side? And yeah, it's quite tough. Pros and cons, trade-offs. What are you prepared to trade off and why? Do you understand why? So progressing on from this, from a unopposed practice, working through technical attributes, Danny's going to take us now into, say, how you might do a small opposed attack v defence session, 10 players. Again, you might have 10 players occasionally turn up. You might have 12. You could just add, take away, whatever it is. But more specific to the game.
Louise, yeah. Can you take 2 volunteers with you and get me 3 mini goals? Yeah. Everyone else can just take 2 minutes, have a rest, have a drink.
Told you that was tough, that one, physically.
I would have communicated to my 6 in the left and right. Let them know if you type the turn. So no one communicated.
Now, that's a good question. Do you know why? No, because there's no one playing against them.
Oh, but in a real game.
Yeah. So that's the trade-off of doing a unopposed, because players get into bad habits because they don't need to look round.
They've got to.
So when you get, and you'll see it now with Danny's opposed, if you don't, well, you're going to be in trouble. But you're right, those sorts of things need to be picked up on. Yeah, you do it. Rory, you can pause it if you want, otherwise we'll just have too much. I'll pause this as well.
Repair and drainage.
It was going, wasn't it? I did start it. Sure I did. 3, 2, 1, clap.
Does this work if I zip this up, yeah? Yeah. Right guys, just walk in.
Depends if you want.
Okay, so a little bit different to what Hedgeho's just done. I'm gonna, when I start, I'll just kind of treat you like players, so just players, and then we'll have a bit of a debrief at the end, and that's when we'll talk about positives, negatives, what you agreed with, what you didn't agree with, why, the why I done what I did. So yeah, while we're out there, just you're players, okay? You're not coaches. In a normal session, this would go for maybe 20 minutes. All right, I'm not going to put you through 20 minutes of this because it's going to be a bit taxing because we're playing full half. But I'm going to give you lots of time in between goals, which I wouldn't normally do if you were 13, 14, 15-year-old. And yeah, other than that, from now I'll treat you like players. I'll have a chat at the end. Okay, so with the frame in which Hedgehow spoke about a little bit today, so pre-session, I don't use it too often. I use it when I need to, but my preferred way of working is get them out on the pitch as quick as possible and talk to them out there. Okay, so I'm going to give you a really quick explanation of what we're doing here, and then I'll get you out on the pitch. Okay, 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, 10. So everyone's in? Can everyone be in? Yeah?
Less intensity.
Okay. Okay.
I can do it as well.
Okay. Okay, so what we're going to do, alright, so a question for you guys first. What have we worked on so far in this session? Yeah, and what sort of, say again? Receiving and playing? Yeah, brilliant. Okay, so we're going to progress that on a little bit. Okay, so if you recognise the Blues, this is the way we play. So we've got 4 defenders, 3 midfielders, 3 attackers. Okay, can everybody see that? What we're going to do for this session is we're just going to work with our back 4 and our deepest midfielder, which means everyone else is not going to be involved. Okay, so we've got a goalkeeper, 2 centre backs, 2 full backs, and a 6. All right, and they're going to play against opposition striker, number 11 and number 7. So 2 wingers and a midfielder matching up here. Okay, normally where our wingers, alright, so our wingers would be, so our 7, 9 and 11 here, instead of them being there, I'm just going to take them out and I'm going to put some mini goals in instead. Okay? Now you'll notice beside the mini goals you have a cone here and a cone there. That's just to replicate points. If you score in the mini goal you get 2 points. If you score in that zone you get 1. Okay? Any questions?
We score in that zone by dribbling.
Sorry, passing or dribbling. Okay? Passing or dribbling to score. Any questions? Okay, I'm going to say, Ben, you be my goalkeeper. Everyone else find a bib, stand where it is. We'll get going in 20 seconds. Okay. Oh. Yeah, so you're not needed, and Matt, you're not needed. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, everyone just make sure you can hear me. So, green team. Alright, all you're doing, the ball will normally start with Ben. Okay, as a goalkeeper, he'll play out to greens. Greens are going to try and score in either of the 3 mini goals. Okay, you can pass into the goal. If you have enough space, you can dribble through that gap. But you can also pass through that gap as well. Okay, pinks, what you're trying to do, win the ball back and score as quick as you can. Every time you win it back, you have 5 seconds to score. If you don't, ball goes back to greens. Okay, every now and then, Ben, give us a ball. Every now and then, get another one ready. I'll have a ball, I'll just throw it to pinks and I'll let you guys attack. You have 5 seconds to score then as well. Any questions? Play! Yes, back to Ben. Just walk, take your time. Ben, just wait till I say play. Sorry, get the ball back. Just get set again. Play. Good, Rob, well played. Good, that's 1 point. Well done, Greens. Just walk back. That's it, just take your time. Okay, so before we start again, pink team, just listen up to me. Okay, so Stu, alright, you're acting as a striker. Whichever side it goes, press and try and not let them go back across. Okay, wingers, Aaron, alright, try and make sure you're narrow first. Alright, if the ball gets played to Murray, then you can press. Okay, likewise on that side, narrow to start. If the ball gets played wide, then you can go and press. Alright, and Ben in here, just try and match up with Blair. Don't let him turn easily. Okay? Play! Good, well played. Good, give me a point. Get set up again. Play pink, off you go. 5 seconds, can you score? Strike, good. Just slow it down, Ben. We'll just start with a goal kick again. Give us that ball. Thank you. Good, just get set up. Wait for my go. Play. And hold it there. Good, well played. Okay, ball back with Ben. Okay, Marcus, well played. Alright, so with Ben playing out to you, what direction do we want to go? Good, okay, so try and pick up a position where that can happen quickly. Okay, how can Ben help you with that?
Play me that in there.
Yeah, play it this side. Okay, try and play him this side, which means you can take your touch and start in that direction. Okay, what else can help make that happen quicker?
My position.
Yeah.
Get more out here.
Okay, so if you go that direction, who are you going closer to?
Closest there.
Yeah, so what?
But I'm comfortable with the
So get into a position that would make it quicker, that can happen and we can get playing forward.
Okay.
Okay, take up that position.
So yeah.
There you go, brilliant. Okay, so try and think about that position that we can receive and play. Play! Brilliant, much better. Good, well played, Marcus. Oh, good ball, Kiggs. Here you go, Pink, play there. 5 seconds to score. Good, 5, 4, unlucky, good idea, Aaron. Yes, Louise. Yeah, no problem. Just give him a sec. Play. Yeah, well played, Marcus. Great decision. God, and just freeze there. Oh, sorry, Greens, killed you. Well played. Okay, Rob, just get back on the ball where you were before you played Murray. Murray, just go 3 yards that way. So here you go, Rob. Come into this position for me. Okay, so this happened a couple of times now. All right, great pass out to Murray. All right.
Yeah.
Now remember our playing style. Once we pass to Murray, can you get in a position to support him? All right.
Yeah.
So think about that. Where have we just went? Do you remember? Okay, so go and take up that position. Now, yeah, just hold it there. Just hold it there. Give the ball back. So, Rob, you tell me, is there any risk with that?
Well,
So
I
think.
would say no.
So, what position are you playing in?
Oh, yeah.
Where?
Central defence.
Okay, so yeah, so do the pass for me again. Yeah, good man. Just give the ball back to Rob. So as you play that, Rob, play it out to him. Now can you give me a position to support Murray? Brilliant, well played. Why would we do that, Rob?
defensively solid still.
Defensively solid. And what else about us in possession? Are you an option there?
Yep.
Yeah, you can receive. If it's tight here, we can go out the other side. Okay, so just think about your shape once you play that pass. Give us the ball. Play! Yeah, much better, Rob. Well done. Good, Rob. Well played. Play, Pink. Unlucky, Stu. Well done. Ben, just hold it there. Just let him get back in shape. Play. Good, and hold there. Brilliant. Ben, good ball. Marcus, great touch. Just go back to where you were. Once I blow the whistle, just freeze. Go back 5 yards. Stu, go back. Not this way, sorry. As the ball was played. Give Marcus the ball. Give Marcus the ball. Okay, so Blair.
Yep.
Okay, think about your position now, alright?
Yes.
So Marcus has received the ball this side. Alright?
Yeah.
What's that hand movement mean? Talk to me.
Oh no, I've got to check out of here
Why?
because I've got 8s behind me.
Very good. Okay, so you've come over to this space, and what has that done?
Travel taking 2 men across.
Taking 2 men across. Brilliant. So pick up a better position for me, you think?
Yep.
Fantastic. So what does that mean for Stu as the striker? Yeah, he can't win now. If he stays with you, what does that give Marcus? Brilliant. If he goes with Marcus, you can receive and we're out. Okay, so think about following the ball and just remaining central sometimes. All right, Ben, play the same pass for me. And we're live off Marcus's touch. Play. And off we go. Good, well played. Good, Keegan, well played. Good, Rob, good decision. Good, freeze there, fantastic, well done. Marcus, just go back to where you were. Rob, Ben, fantastic, brilliant, well done. Yeah, ball to Marcus. Now just stay where you were, Stu. Stay where you were. Get out of it. Okay, so Ben and Rob have done fantastic. We've got Marcus into lots of space on this side. All right, now to our full back. So Keegan, have a look at Marcus. All right, what do you see in this picture?
He has lots of space.
Lots of space. So what could you do to help him with that space?
Go away to make it bigger for him, or to come in wide so it opens that channel for him.
Okay, the first one, I want you to do that for me now.
Yep.
Okay, go and do that. Just wherever you think. Good, brilliant. Now what does that do to Ben?
Puts him in 2 lines out to come in or shut that pass.
Brilliant, okay, so if he shuts that pass, what does that mean for you?
I'm open, get
Open, receive, play forward. Okay, brilliant. Just by giving us a bit more distance that way. Okay. Ball back to Rob. It was you that played it across. Yeah, give it to Rob. Rob, no pressure, but I want you to play that pass with the same pace. All right, we're live off Marcus touch. Play. Ooh, they're safe. Good. Good, Marcus. Brilliant, Keegan. Well played. Oh, good ball, Blair. Good, and freeze, hold there. Brilliant, Greens, well played. Nearly there, fellas, nearly there. Okay, Marcus, over to you again, alright? So what's the object of this game? What are we trying to do? Play that way? Yep. Yeah, okay, so just look at your position at the moment. You're in possession. Is Stu just come 2 yards this way? Is Stu, yeah, that'll do. Is Stu a threat to you at the moment, do you think? No. You're okay? Gonna take a second?
Just getting old, I'm alright,
Yeah.
carry on.
Okay, so if is Stu a threat to you at the moment? No? Alright, so what do you see in this moment as like this picture? Where do you think the best pass to play is at the moment?
Great big hole.
Great big hole?
Yep.
Okay, is there any way you can make that pass easier for you?
Open myself out.
Yeah. And then play that way, okay? Because you remember what the goals represent?
Yep.
So what's this guy in here?
That's my, yeah.
Yeah,
Centre forward.
yeah, that's your striker. If we can play there quickly and get up the pitch, brilliant. All right, so always think that way when we have this space and time to do so. Okay, I'm just going to take this ball away from you. No, I'm just going to give you a couple of seconds. All right. So we're going to play live off Marcus's touch. Last run. Play. And time. Okay, we're walking this way, fellas.
What an effort that was. Like every time the whistle went, you went, thank God.
Yes, Ben. Is there any danger with that? I don't think so.
No.
Okay, so we'll just do a quick bit of a debrief from you guys. We'll go right from the start till the end. Just a couple of things. So again, a normal session, I wouldn't go stop, especially with younger players, because if you do 3 within 3 minutes, you start getting this, oh, here we go, he's fucking talking again. Okay, so it's important that you do give them a chance to play, but in this setting, seeing some of the faces, and I thought it was the safest for everyone. Okay, so we'll go right back to the start. Any thoughts on the whiteboard? Was it worthwhile doing? Anybody think? Why? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so sometimes, especially again, I work mostly with youth players, but just giving the youth players that 20 seconds of looking at the whiteboard, they can kind of click it into a game. All right, so it's like, oh, it's actually it actually replicates something out here. It's not just a massive area and we're trying to go that way and they're going that way. They can relate positions to it. Okay?
So what, it was good to explain what the end point was. Because sometimes the kids can be like, oh yeah, we're going to be passing, but what are we doing at the end of it? Why
Yeah.
are we...
Yeah, and that's a massive when you do, or whatever you'd call this, shape or game training, whatever it is. Both teams have to have a way to score, because otherwise it's just completely pointless. Okay, you have to have the 4 moments, and both teams have a way to score. All right, Pink's nearly scored a worldie, as you can see. Okay, so after the whiteboard, we went straight in. Everyone got in a position. Okay, did I speak again before we started?
Yeah.
About what?
The rules.
Yeah,
So
so
you said before you didn't say Pink to score, but when you got on the pitch, you'd like Pink get the ball. They've got 5 seconds to score, so there was a clear instruction.
Yeah.
For Pink.
and that's a really good point, and that's why I like to get them out here as quick as I can, because I don't like explaining rules on a whiteboard. I want them to be out here in the picture before I say this is how you score and this is how you score. Okay, anything else before we got going?
Always started with the keeper.
Yeah.
Which,
Unless what?
unless you put a ball in play. the Pink
Yeah, why do you think I did that?
To keep the greens alert, because when you did it the first time, I actually wasn't paying attention and I was 10 yards off the pace.
Yeah.
So
Any other reason I do that?
Transition to position.
Yeah, 100%. Okay, people could say, oh, it's a transition moment or to keep us alert. It's just to keep you guys, just to keep you on my side. All right, because if I just keep working greens, you're going to stop working to win the ball back. Everyone's going to hate me, and suddenly it's not a realistic picture. Okay, so then we played. All right, what happened from then? Do we notice how long we played for before I start coaching? Yeah, probably about 1 minute to 90 seconds. In again a real game, that would probably be 3 to 4 minutes. Why would I do that?
Just get them used to what you're wanting to do.
Get them used to it 100%, so that make sure they know the rules.
Positioning mainly, correct a few positioning
Yeah.
areas.
see if they make the same mistake more than once. So
Yeah.
They might have done it the first time, don't blow it up. But if they do it the third time in a row, then maybe stop the drill and say.
So yeah.
They've understood your instructions.
pretty much, so you're all going a level above me here. The main reason I do that when I'm coaching is to make sure the game is working. I just come back and say, right, make sure greens know how they can score, pinks know how they can score, and it looks like football. That's the reason I do it. Everything that you guys have said comes into that, but the main reason is just to kind of take a step back and say, yeah, it looks like football. Okay, who was the first team I coached?
Was it Stu's position? No, Stu. It's a bit of both, isn't it?
We're all pretty old here.
Yeah.
Vic and Matt, no. Who did he work with first?
Who was the first team I coached?
Yeah, with the Marcus.
Marcus?
Before that.
Goalkeeper, wasn't it?
Before that.
Well, then there was this. He did talk about that forward.
Stu.
We were talking about that.
So the first, I hope it was the first team I coached. If it's not, you're not getting the video. The first team I hoped I would coach was the Pinks. All right, why would I do that? So do you remember the coaching point I gave to the Pinks?
Structure.
Keep them motivated and
To keep it pressure for the green.
Keep the pressure for the greens, yeah. So for me to be successful with the green team in there, which is the team I'm working with and I want to be successful, the Pinks have a massive part to play in that. Because if greens play and Stu decides as a striker, I'm just going to sit back here, I'm not going to chase the ball, I've no need to, okay? That ruins my session because in the game that I'm basing this on, the striker went and pressed, okay? So I have to make sure that I get Pinks right before I even touch greens, all right? Maybe I did that, maybe I didn't, but that's what you're supposed to do.
You definitely did.
Fucking stitch up, by the way.
So, the reason, as Danny says, if the Pinks don't do what the problem that we've identified was, so we can't play out from the back because they're pressing us, if they don't press us, my team, the green team, are learning something different. They're not solving the problem that I want them to solve, they're solving a different problem. They're solving a breakdown, a mid-block if they're just going to sit off, which might be fine against certain opposition, but the opposition we're playing press us high. So you've got to make sure that the opposition are doing what you need them to do to help your players learn what you want them to learn. Crucial.
Did anybody notice what way I spoke to the pink players? Pink players, you should be able to answer this. What way did I speak to you when I was coaching you? Anyone remember?
It looked like you didn't want us to know what you were telling the pink to do.
That was unintentional. It's just fucking windy.
I
Yeah.
couldn't hear anything.
Yeah.
So what style of coaching?
Yeah.
Co-instructional. Because telling me what
Yeah, so telling, okay? Yeah, I was directing, I was telling you exactly what way.
you were dictating.
Yeah, I was right down at the bar. Why would I do that with the pink team?
Because they needed to do a specific activity to replicate the goal.
Yeah, because I don't essentially need the pinks to really learn anything in this practice. This practice is for the green team. So the quicker I can get the pinks doing exactly what I want them to do, the more realistic it is. All right, long-term learning, probably 0 for the pinks. Okay, I didn't tell you anything about why you were doing what you were doing, but I just need you to do a job. If we change that to the way I spoke to you, Marcus, and you, Rob, okay, what style was that? Questioning, yeah. What sort of questions was it?
You're trying to get influential type of coaching. Where,
Yeah.
Where you get them participate, but by asking questions.
Yeah, so why do I want them to participate in the solution? Yeah, 100%. But if I help them explain, if I help them understand why, chances are that it's going to last with them a lot longer than if I just say, Rob, don't go that way, just pass them and be an option. On that one as well, just to...
I mean, the goal was open, to be fair.
Yeah, to be fair, it was a good goal and I brought it right back. On that one, so all of you guys could argue and say what happened there was successful. We got the ball into the opposition's half, nearly scored a goal by playing in, Rob making a run and playing back. Okay, so why do you think I stopped it? Yeah, exactly, me. Because I don't like that. Because that's the way I coach. That I want my teams to centre halves to play and then be an option to come back and be patient to go around the other side. Alright? I think it's probably 99.9% of coaches, but Rob has his own idea. Okay? But it's important that you have to understand why I made him do that or why I wanted him to do that. It's because that's the way I like football to be played. Alright? If you like that and you can justify it, that's you. Okay? So did we see, I suppose, a connection between what Hedjo did and what I did? What? What was the connection?
The pass and the turn and the open out and the quick play from the centre backs to the full backs.
Yeah, so Hedjo mainly worked with what players?
Centre backs.
Yeah, so goalkeepers, centre backs mostly, about turning, receiving, open body, trying to play forward. Okay, when we brought it into a big game, did I move on to other players?
No, they wouldn't start at goalkeeper or centre backs every single time.
I mean, so I coached the centre backs. Did I coach any other players?
Midfield side.
Yeah. Why? So why would I move on from the centre backs?
Because they're an important link
Play
to get
forward.
so
Talking about
Both of you. Yeah.
having the centre backs be able to turn out confidently.
Yeah.
So to do that, you had to make adjustments to other positions around the time to allow that space and time, maybe.
Yeah. So does anyone remember what our football problem was?
Yeah, connecting the build up
Yeah.
to the
So
striker.
generally playing out from the back, we struggled. One of the main reasons was the technique of the centre backs. I felt that the techniques of the centre backs in there was fucking exceptional, which meant that I could move on. All right, because he can have great technique and get touch to face forward, but that's only step one. For us to get that way, we need the full back to stretch it. We need the centre mid to stay central to create the space. Okay. So,
That comment is going to be on the video, by the way.
what comment?
I'm going to show my team at the same
Just the last thing I want to touch on is the goals. All right. So I think Hedro spoke about it before the session. Why are the goals where they are?
It's a space where you create the like go forward. That's the space that you wanna.
But here's a space we could go forward. There. There's probably from that line to this line we could go forward any point. But why are the goals there?
Wings, when your wings,
Yeah. Brilliant. Yeah. So they're players. All right. Because I don't have the players who turned up to the session, I'm replicating them with goals. All right. The cones on the outside is something that I like to do because when we're playing into mini goals, all right. So it was the last one I touched on. Marcus could get a touch out of his feet. All right. Beat the striker and zip one into this striker, and it missed by that much. All right, and for a 14-year-old, he's like, "Fuck, I missed." All right, but in a match, what would happen? Yeah, striker will go like that. Goals can't move. So just to make sure that they know anything inside that with a bit of pace is a good pass, and it's important they know that. Okay. Yeah, Joe.
Yeah, it's a great point in terms of having realistic targets. And as you say, these small goals are so small, and obviously they don't move, that if you're not precise, you get punished. And yet in the game, you know, you think about a centre-back passing into a winger or a striker, they might move 10 yards to receive the pass, intentionally, because there might be the centre-halves marking me as a 9 this side, and I've got lots of space here, so just drop it in there and I'll get there. But if we've got such precise targets, which is why, again, you always have sort of 2 or 3 ways of scoring, because if the objective is to get across the halfway line, it's not just about passing into these players, because as the play progresses, the 9's not staying there, is he? He's obviously moving up with the play. So now it's about, okay, can we carry the ball across the halfway line? There's an extra point. So it's just promoting the behaviours that you want to see. I mentioned, we were talking on the side here, about the approach of the coach. So when we're doing these courses, we'll put on sessions, and you know, I don't like rondos, you like rondos, I like a 6, I like 2 6s, I don't play with 1 striker, I play with 2. All that stuff's almost irrelevant, because it's what you do. That's the vision and philosophy that you have. It's very specific to you and how you believe the game should be played. So don't necessarily pay attention to the content of what we do, pay attention to our process. So how Danny coaches, who he coaches, when he coaches. So we've not spoken about when. So in my exercises, there was no when really, because it was just, can you receive and turn and do this? So it was almost in breaks. When did you notice Danny coach? Not the pinks, but the greens.
Actually, during the game.
So during the game, in the heat of the moment, in the live play. Yep. Pros for that. Let's do the pros first. What's good about coaching in the game? So pausing the game and coaching Marcus, for instance, and receiving the ball. What's good about it? Say again.
Addressing it as it happens.
As it happens, immediately. Yep.
Chances for the next improvement will receive a similar situation.
So he sees the picture. This is where it's happened. The next time I'm in this picture, I kind of know what to happen. What we didn't see with your underlapping was the next time you received it, how his intervention affected your behaviour. But we were picking, you would have played into Murray and just supported underneath the ball, because that's the question, the sort of where he was leading. So coached in the game. Did he do any coaching sort of before the game? And I don't mean in the stuff here, but like there's a goal kick, Ben's got the ball at his feet. Was there any coaching prior to that? So it was cold, if you like. No. Why?
Let the players play.
Yep.
And then from there,
So you're letting them experience it and see the pictures.
you capture the moment and then you explain.
Start.
Yep.
Doing start is the start. Get it going and made adjustments.
Yeah, so here's the outcome of the game. So it's, off you go. So he could have coached. So it's, let's say it's scored, right, reset, go back to the start. Right, Marcus, when you get the ball, can you do this? And Rob, when you get it, can you do that? What's the negative side of coaching sort of out of the game? So you coached in the game, what about out of the game?
All stopped. Players have stopped, and some of the players can't even hear what's going on.
So there's environmental issues, space, time, wind, all that sort of stuff. There's the pictures in your head. Now I'm going to commentate now a scenario. And if we could plug in a computer like the Matrix and see each of the pictures that appear in your head, we would all be different. So the keeper's got the ball, he drives it out to the right centre half. He's going to turn out on his back foot, plays it into the right back. Who's going to play into the 6, who's going to play round the corner into the 10. Now in my head, I've got a very clear picture of what that looks like. I would lay my mortgage on it's not exactly the same in each of yours. So when you do coaching out of the game, you're never sure 100% that the picture in your head is the same in the player's head. Where coaching in the game, they see the picture that you've seen. So there was, again, I'm going to rely on some pictures. In fact, no, I'm not. I'm going to paint it here. Just roll the ball back into Ben's feet there. We're just going to do it as a mini shadow. Marcus, go to right centre back. Blair into centre midfield. Murray left back. Rob left centre back there. There we are as a just central there. So, ball goes into Marcus, and he receives, and he starts to turn. Freeze there. What did Danny do next?
Anthony asked me about my positioning and then move out to create the space for him to come into.
Okay, so he felt, what would he have seen then if he was going to give you that information?
That I would have been shutting down that space.
Right. So he identifies a problem. Where did he stand? Where did he spend most of his time? Do you know? Yeah, up here. So he's looking that way. Do you know why?
See everything.
You see everything. So as the ball's even being played to Marcus, if I'm standing here and looking up that way, I can still see what's happening on that side of the pitch. If I get myself like a referee in the middle and just go, right, there he goes, and goes there, I might be able to fix a problem here, but I might see or not see that Murray's having a cigar out on the left wing when he should be tucking around. So coaching position, now I was a defender all my life. I'm very comfortable. I played left back and left centre back. So when I'm in these areas of the pitch, looking at that, I can know what's right and what's wrong in terms of the game. Blair, you'll be the same as a centre forward looking back down the pitch if the player's in the right or wrong position. So your playing career can have an influence on where you can see the game best from. As soon as I start stepping into midfield, I start to go, I'm uncomfortable here, now I'm looking down the pitch, it's even worse. So I'm not comfortable looking that way. I've had to work quite hard at the striker's view. Because what you know and see in your head, your biography, can influence. So he's standing out the way, can see it, talks to Keegan about his position and da-di-da-di-da. Then what does he do?
Rolls it back and starts again.
Okay, so winds the ball back into the keeper, rewinds it, and rewinds players back to where they were. Why?
So he can correct his mistake immediately.
Okay, so he gets a chance at having a go at, because there's nothing worse now. Ben, play to that side. Ready, play. Keegan goes, I don't get a chance to practice what we were going through. But also, it gives me a chance to check Keegan's understanding of what I want him to understand. So ready, Ben's going to play out of his feet into Marcus, play. Now I'm watching and observing what Keegan does. If he does it really well, play on. If there's a massive problem, you might stop it, just rewind again. Can you try and get a bit wider when you do it, da-da-da. Ready, play. And you give him another chance. Yeah, we should have played on this side. Shoes like I'm in. Have that.
4 yards, I'll get it.
Yeah, just come in again. Come in again. Yeah, you can stand down, as they say. So the process that Danny's used there, in terms of a coaching process, coaching in the game, using questioning more often than not, suits his personality as well. Not to say he'd never tell anybody, because sometimes you might have to. I've got so many examples where I've done the wrong thing. In a game or at half time is probably not the best time to be asking questions, because what the questions promote: thought, discussions and answers. I'd just been on a coaching course, and it was 2008, 2007. Team Wellington, we're up in Christchurch. Costa Barbarouses is playing for us at left wing. He's like 17, 18, something like that. And he started to drift inside the pitch because our keeper's kicking wasn't very good. He started to drift inside the pitch, and I'm on the bench right next to him at English Park, and I've gone, here we go, I'll show how good I am here. Costa, where do you think you can be more effective? I looked at the gaffer like, what a fucking question that is, by the way. Okay? He's gone, what? Where do you think, I haven't even finished the question, the ball's whistled past his ear as he's talking to me on the bench. And I've gone, you absolute twat. If I'd have just said, Costa, get higher and wider, he'd gone, yeah.
Not even looked.
And the ball, it'd have been in on it. Right? And so you live and learn, don't you? But so there's a time and a place for questions and instructions and all the rest of it. But I think when you're, and Danny mentioned it before, questioning for long-term learning, and again, it's not to say that instructions are bad, because with senior players, again, because of their biography, maybe Costa, because of the quality he had, if I'd have said to him, get high and wide, he'd have probably understood why. So it's important, if you give an instruction, you give the rationale. And senior players will go, yeah, I'll get that, sweet. Whereas younger players, 13, 14, 15, they'll do what you want them to do, but they may not necessarily understand the why, which is where the questioning then comes in.
Just a really quick one on questions as well. Very, very important. Make sure if that's the tactic that you're using, and there's often a time for it. I use it a lot of the times I'm coaching with younger players. But one thing that can really stitch you up if you're doing that technique is if you don't know the answer to the question you're asking. So it happened just now, and it doesn't happen often, but I've said to Marcus something about your position. I wanted you to come a little bit closer to the keeper, so it happened a bit snappier. So I said, can you get in a position to make that happen quicker? And he started walking towards Stu. Now, if you as a coach, if you're not sure, you'd probably just say, yeah, brilliant, well done. And then the next time we play, he's probably getting dispossessed and Stu's scoring. So questions are great as long as you know what you want to get out of it. And sometimes, like Hedge's touched on, if they don't know the answer, you have to give them a little bit more to help, and then a little bit more to help. Sometimes they just won't know, and you do have to tell them. And this is why, as Hedge said, rationale. But it is important. Make sure you're 100% on the answer that you're looking for before you get in.
What you could do with that is if he did start going towards Stu, then you go, okay, what's going to happen? Or let's just see if that works. And they experience it, and it doesn't work. Okay, why didn't it work? I was probably too close. Okay, so so it could take a little bit longer, but you can accelerate it by knowing, okay, you're probably in the wrong position there. How can I nudge and guide him now into it? So again, pros and cons for everything. Any questions before we wrap up? We're done for the day. Any questions or observations, comments around some of the practical stuff we've done through session design, using different activities, different ways of doing things, and then some of the coaching bits on here?
Yeah, I think one of the challenges, I think, especially the youth, when you do this kind of session, of course they're eager to just go and play, right? So, and some of them not participating.
Yep.
Like, that's some. How do we tackle that? Sometimes because we're playing.
Don't do them. So, if you think about the principles of play, so in here, obviously with the greens playing out, we're talking about penetration of pass, supporting movement, all the principles of play. The principles can come out, even if we did our little, I mean it's the shadow play, it's not, but our miniature game in there, the principles are still there. So you can cut down to 4v4s and get them to work on those principles, and over time the principles then apply in the bigger game. But if you've got situations where you're doing these exercises and you've got 4 or 5 players not involved, not engaged, I would change the practice to try and get, what can I do to get them involved? Is it a smaller practice? Is it a different practice? So again, that matrix, do I need to go a little bit more game-like than specific or non-specific? Like it's moving yourself around on that matrix to suit the needs of the players. It's an art. Takes a while. It takes time. Done. Fantastic. Thanks a lot. Been a long day. We've thrown a lot of information at you. Hopefully some of it will stick. Tomorrow we will be inside for the morning. You guys will be planning some sessions. We're going to work out how long your sessions are, who's doing what, when, where, and then we'll be out in the afternoon running sessions. You coaching, us as players. All right. Done. We're going to have a
So tomorrow.
or something. Yeah.
Yeah. But just before we split up tomorrow, down the end of that road, and the furthest door on the right, 2 big green doors. We'll be in that room for tomorrow on Sunday.
Is that the William there? Or further than that?
Sorry?
Is it the William building?
Flags. See the flags?
The flags.
Oh yeah, okay.
Just drive to the end of that road and then it's on the right. There's some parking there. Some of it is 120. Parking on that side is your safest bet. On the road, yeah. Give a hand with the gear, please.
That'd be awesome. Yeah.
And just make sure you take everything with you from upstairs as well.